What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's YouTube video. Before we dive into the video, I want to share with you my goal this year to hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you find today's video useful, you can help me out by just hitting that red subscribe button to get us one step closer to the goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers. I can't do it without you guys, so I'm trying to put out as much great content as I can each week for you in exchange for getting you to subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, help us reach our goal, and now let's go ahead and dive into today's video. In this video, we're going to go over the basic setup for your WordPress website, different plugins you need to have installed to help your website be optimized for performance so it can perform better in Google search and you can get ranked in Google and get traffic to your website. So with that being said, we're on the plugins add new page. So all I did was go into my WordPress website, found the dashboard, found plugins, drop down the menu, click add new. Then we come in here and we're automatically on featured, but I clicked over to popular. So these are the most popular plugins, and it's got a majority of the ones that we need to set up the basic structure of our WordPress website. So to get started under popular, we want to install Yoast SEO. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the install now button. It's going to install it. Yoast SEO improves our SEO on our website. It gives a performance rating on each page so that we know what we need to work on to improve that page. So for example, it'll tell you if your title's too long, if you're missing keywords, if your images are missing keywords. So it gives you different tips and it installs itself. So every single page we have, so let's just open up a blog article, for example, to show you where it's going to be. So if I'm going to write a blog article and hope that my blog article ranks in Google someday and gets traffic from Google searchers. So we've got this page here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do first, I forgot to activate the plugin. So we need to click activate once we've installed, and that'll turn the plugin on. Anytime we want to turn plugins off, we can just deactivate them. All right, so let me come back here now, refresh my blog page. Now we're going to see a little Yoast SEO section appear down here underneath the blog articles. So the Yoast SEO section, again, we can start typing our article here. It'll scan all the text that we put in this text box here, and it'll basically give us a score, and we'll be able to see what we need to fix. So SEO analysis, this drop down here, this is where we're going to see all the different things that it analyzed on the page, and it's going to tell us different things we need to fix. So as we start typing out, there will be a lot more things that start showing up here, a longer list than the current list of just 4 things that currently are showing. So that's a great tool. It helps you make sure you're optimizing each article, each page on your website for SEO, for search engine optimization, so that you can get out on the first page of Google and get traffic when people search different things related to that topic your article's about. So let's hop back over to plugins. We can see currently these are all my installed plugins. So I do have the classic editor installed by default. So that is why my blog page looks like this. If you go into your blog post page and notice it looks different, I have installed the classic editor. I prefer the classic editor to the old school style. So that's the one I'm using. And that's where all I got to do is type a title in and then start typing out the body of my page. And so that's one thing I wanted to note real quick, because you might see that your page looks different than mine, and that's because I have this plugin called Classic Editor installed. So we're going to go back to the add new plugins. We're going to go back to popular. So we've installed Yoast SEO to help optimize each page. Next, we want to make sure we have our SSL secured. So you can install this plugin called Really Simple SSL. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click so that these install themselves without taking me off the page each time. So this one in particular we've installed. What it does is it makes your website secure by giving it an SSL certificate. So there's no setup. You know, you're going to need an SSL certificate from your hosting provider. So if you sign up for your website through like Bluehost or Siteground, a lot of times they're giving you a free SSL now as part of your subscription to their hosting. So you should already have your SSL certificate. If not, talk with your hosting provider and find out how to get one. So once you've got that SSL certificate and you install this plugin, it'll take care of everything else. There's no setup. Basically, it'll make sure your web pages are always secured so you don't have to worry about potential data leaks and hacks. So SSL is important, especially if you have an e-commerce website, so that, you know, people typing in credit card information, it stays encrypted when the pages are loading. All right. Right underneath Really Simple SSL is one called WordFence Security. So this is the next plugin we want to install to set up our WordPress website. WordFence Security makes sure our website stays secure. So once we've installed and activated it and set this plugin up, it'll basically block malware and block hackers and help keep your website safe. This gives you a good Google score. So again, it helps your website be able to rank out on the first page. If your website comes under attack and is malicious, has spam on it, malware on it, it's going to get flagged in Google's system, and Google's not going to want to promote your website on the first page rankings. So it's going to impact you negatively. So that's why it's important to make sure your website is secured using a security plugin like WordFence. All right, next let's keep on scrolling. We've got Updraft. This is a backup plugin, so this is super important to install to set up your website. That way, anytime your website would ever go down, or if it did get hacked or something happened where you got a virus on your website, you could re-upload or reinstall an old version of your website that didn't have those issues by having those different versions backed up. So Updraft Plus will back up your website to either Dropbox or Google Drive or Amazon if you use Amazon storage. So different storage cloud platforms you can back up easily to. You can choose how many copies that we want to back up. So I could do a daily copy for 7 days and then stop, so I only keep 7 copies on hand, that sort of thing. So we'll go ahead and install both of those plugins. Next, we want to keep scrolling down here and look for a catching plugin. So there's WP Super Catch. As we scroll down further, there's a couple others, Lightspeed Catch, and then we've got WP Fastest Catch, and then the popular one a lot of people use, W3 Total Cache. So we're just going to install one of these caching plugins. What it does is it makes your website save in people's browsers when they load different pages. So the next time they come to your website, it'll just load those pages even faster for them. So it's already cached in the history, so they don't have to reload all the things on the website each time. It makes your website speed much faster. And website speed is a big performance thing that Google looks at when deciding how to rank pages on Google search. So having a fast website, super important, and you can speed your website up by downloading one of these caching plugins. So those are some basic plugins to get started with. There's one other one up here I want to talk about called Smush. So this one optimizes and compresses images on your website to make sure that they have small file sizes. That helps your website load faster. Because if your website's trying to load a big file size, I mean, think of like when you watch Netflix, you're trying to download, a Netflix movie on your phone or on your laptop, and it can take a while to download and stream because of how big of a size of a video it is. Well, same thing with images. Images have file sizes. So every time your website loads an image, it's going to take a little while to load that image depending on how big that image size is. So Smush will actually shrink down and compress the size without distorting the image. So you still get the same quality, but the actual file size of the image is smaller. And so this way your website will load faster, especially if you're using a lot of images on your website. You want to make sure you're optimizing all your images so that your pages can load fast. All right, so that's the first 5 plugins that we wanted to talk about, 6 plugins here on this first page of the popular. Let's go ahead and click over to page 2, and I'm going to show you a couple more that we need to get started when we set up our basic website. So SiteKit by Google, this is actually a plugin created by Google. So I would recommend installing this one because it's going to give you access to analytics, Google Search Console. Google Search Console is where you can track your page rankings and performance in Google Search. So you can actually see what pages are showing up on the first, second, third page. You can see where your keyword positioning is. So if you're trying to target, let's just say fitness tips, you can see, okay, I'm in the 85th position for the term fitness tips. So that means I'm pretty far away from being in the top 10 results on the first page of Google. So Search Console is a great tool to help you optimize and strategize different content and see how you're performing on Google search so that you can come back and make improvements or add better content to your website. You also get access to these other things like the Google Speed Test. Again, speed is very important to Google's ranking when they're trying to decide websites. They want user experience to be positive. So if you're coming to a website and user experience is negative because your web pages are taking forever to load, so the Google Speed tool is super important to help optimize your pages. It'll give you recommendations, tips, what you need to do to optimize those pages to get them loading faster. And then you get access again to analytics and AdSense, so you can see traffic data, how many people are coming to your website, where they're coming from. AdSense, if you're going to start displaying ads on your website so you can start earning money from your website. So SiteKit by Google, super important plugin I would recommend installing. Now, if you use Siteground hosting, they actually give you the Siteground Optimizer plugin. So that's one I already have installed and active on my website because I'm a Siteground customer for my hosting plan. Having a good host is also important. If you have a bad hosting company running your website, it can load slow. Siteground is a super fast hosting company. If you want to switch to Siteground, you can just go to asknickfoy.com/Siteground. That link is going to take you over and you can get a special deal on purchasing Siteground at a cheaper price. But Siteground, super fast hosting company, so my website loads fast. They give their own optimizer plugin as well when I install WordPress. So when I go into that plugin, I can customize things like images. It'll optimize images for me. It'll lazy load images on the page. So as people scroll down the page, images will load later on. So that helps with speed as well. All right, one final plugin to talk about is AMP or AMP. So this is where people are now loading web pages on Google through the accelerated mobile pages. So Google's starting to prioritize a lot of mobile pages first over desktop versions of pages because more and more users are on mobile phones these days when they're coming across websites and using Google to search for things. So having AMP installed will optimize your website to be able to load pages in the accelerated mobile page format, the AMP format. So installing this plugin is going to help you in the eyes of Google, again, with your performance score, and it'll help you start showing up higher in the search results by being an AMP certified website, in other words. So install this plugin. It'll take care and do things for you. You don't have to worry too much about it. Lastly, the schema and structured data. This could also be a great plugin to install here because it'll recode your schema and your structured data for the Google search. So if you ever go out into Google search and you type in something and you see a list of websites, you'll notice sometimes these websites have different rich snippets underneath the heading of the search results. So you might see a drop down with multiple links you could click on, or some different ways they structure it out on Google's page. So having this installed will help you be able to kind of pick and choose how you want to structure your page data to show out on Google as well. And so it'll help you, be better optimized, better organized. So when people come across your website in the Google search results, they have a clear cut, here's what pages you want them to click on so they come to your website specific pages. So I know it's kind of confusing, but that's just really a basic overview of these different plugins. I didn't click and actually go into each one super detailed, trying to keep this video short, but start with Yoast SEO and go into installing a caching plugin so we have a fast website, optimize our images with a plugin like Smush, make sure they're optimized for accelerated mobile pages, so AMP, have some schema and structured data plugin installed so you can structure how your website's going to display out in the search results. And then the Google Site Kit we talked about as well was another great plugin to make sure you're optimizing your website using the Google Site tools. And then we had the security plugin and the backup plugin to make sure our website's secure from hackers and backed up in case we lose access or something goes corrupt on our website. So thanks so much for watching this video. Those are the main plugins to get started with on your WordPress website to get it set up and optimized for Google search. All right, since you made it all the way through today's YouTube video, I want to share with you an important resource I put together regarding Pinterest. So it's called Pinterest for Business. It's updated every month, so there's going to be new content coming into this resource library. You can scroll down the page here and you can read through all the sales copy, but I'm not really a salesman. All I care about doing is putting out the best videos that I can put out for you so you can help teach yourself how to use Pinterest using these training videos. So you're going to get a lot of cool worksheets, different checklists that I start you off with, and a free month of Tailwind. We're also going to go into a lot of the beginner steps starting out, but we're going to get more advanced as well, like how to use your business account to sell things on, Etsy or your website, or build an email list. I'm going to go over the Pinterest algorithm, how it works, so you can learn how to get more pins to stand out on Pinterest so that you can get more clicks to your website, to your blog, to your products. We're going to talk about the secrets to creating viral content on Pinterest. I've got a viral pin checklist you can check out here as well. And then we're going to get into the automation aspect so you can set up scheduling pins with Tailwind to save yourself a ton of time, as well as how to, manually pin still to get some benefit from manual pinning. So overall, there's all kinds of modules here inside of this course that you can use to better your Pinterest knowledge and, help your business out and get better at marketing on Pinterest. So again, we're adding videos every single month. So this library of videos is only going to get bigger and bigger. And the price is going to go up with time as well because, the more content we fill it up with, the more we're going to need to start charging. And so with that being said, go ahead and get the early bird pricing today. You can check out the link below in this YouTube video, or you can go to asknickfoy.teachable.com and just look for this Pinterest for Business course. I also have some other courses, so try to scroll through them and find the one for Pinterest.